Creepypasta time. I used to be a social worker, now I'm in prison. What is your definition of a monster? Glowing red eyes? Razor-like teeth? Deformed limbs? Mutilated bodies? A while back, hell, I'd probably agree with you. Until I saw a real monster. Right out of high school, I knew what I wanted to do. I wasn't brought up in a very loving and wholesome family, so I wanted to protect the children that needed saving from that sort of environment. I wanted to be a social worker. When I first became employed, I was assigned low-profile cases. Children who weren't attending school, teenagers skipping classes, etc. It wasn't much, and I felt like a guidance counselor. It didn't matter though, as long as I could help at least one child. 2 years into my employment, I was assigned a case. It was a 5-year-old girl who wasn't attending school regularly. Upon my first visit to the household, I was immediately greeted by a tall, blue-eyed man. His voice was deep and jarring. When I started explaining why I was there, he quickly dismissed me. He explained his daughter had been ill and was bedridden. I should have burst through the door right then, but I jotted his explanation down in my notebook and left. When she still didn't return to school the following week, I was sent back to the household. This time it took about 9 knocks and 10 minutes of me standing at the door. I immediately knew something wasn't right. The parents' cars were in the driveway. The dog was barking. I could hear shuffling. Someone was definitely in there. I don't know if my fight or flight response kicked in, but I damn sure know I kicked in that door. The dog was still barking, but the shuffling went silent. The house seemed still. Too still. "Hello?" I shouted out. "I'm here on a welfare check for your daughter." After no response I became frantic. "Hello? Mr. White?" This time, I heard more shuffling. It was coming from upstairs. I knew in my heart that something was very wrong. I already violated the rules of my job, so I wasn't about to stop now. At first, I slowly started up the stairs, but all too soon it became frantic. There were 2 doors to the left of the hallway, and 3 more on the other end. At the very end of the right side of the hallway was a door. It was different from the rest. I heard frantic movements coming from that area. I dropped all my folders as the paperwork littered their floor. There was a padlock on the outside of the door, but it was unlocked. When I opened the door, my eyes instantly formed tears. He was bare from waist down, on top of the tiny human I was supposed to protect. I already failed at my job, and I could have called the police, but all I could see was this disgusting human taking the innocence of a child. I saw red. I took the knife that I kept for protection out of my back pocket, motioned at the child to close her eyes, and lunged. I wanted to make him feel the pain he made that little girl feel. Over and over. And over. I knew he was dead after the first 6 stabs, but he deserved the 27 I gave him. I told the girl to keep covering her eyes, and she held them tight until the police arrived. A monster can be defined in many ways. They're mostly portrayed in movies as some deformed figure, but I can no longer agree. The only true monster I've ever seen was a father with blue eyes and a tall figure. People ask me if I miss being a social worker. They ask me if I would take it all back to get out of prison. But the only thing I regret is not stabbing him 27 more times.